Hi, everyone, and welcome back to the Straight Up Christian Podcast. I'm your host, Blair, and we have a little co host today, my friend Kaleigh, back with us.
Oh, yes. And she says back because if you have not listened to our last podcast together, go ahead, click the card on the screen, and go watch it before you watch this one.
Yes, because that one was so good. But today we're just going to go ahead and jump right in. We're going to talk about our favorite memories of college together, and it's a little bit different than what I've done in the past, but it kind of relates to this whole Christian thing because college has brought us a lot of joy and our friends a lot of joy. We have so many fun stories to share with you. But I wanted to share this verse with you all out of Psalm 71 is verse 23. It says, "My lips will shout for joy when I sing praise to you, I whom you have delivered." And I just like that because honestly, like, my life has been so joyful since coming to know the Lord. And we just wanted to share the part of Christianity that I think people don't really see that much, and that's the fun part of it.
Definitely.
A lot of the times people are like, "Oh, I don't want to be a Christian because they don't get to have any fun." Let me tell you something. We have a lot of fun and we have a lot of joy.
Definitely.
So we just wanted to bring some of our favorite memories to you all today and share the fun parts of being a Christian and show you that it's not all rules and laws and all these things, but it's a lot of fun and we get to have a lot of fun together.
Yes. And I can even add to that as a testament in my life that, like, the joy is just so much more fulfilling. Like, a Christian life, doing the right thing, is so much more fulfilling rather than being just fun and laughing. It's joy that is everlasting.
Yes, that is so true. So let's go ahead and jump into these memories. Okay, so our first story that we're going to share with y'all is, what was this?
It was like the first week of school.
No, it had to be like the second or third day here.
Yeah.
Like, it was so soon. And so they put us, I think we've talked about it before. I can't remember if it was with you or if it was with Shay. But they put us in these like little small groups that weren't our set small groups at the beginning of the year. And they told us that we were all going to have to do this skit and like perform it. And there was going to be like a prize at the end.
Yeah. And let me just add to that. This is the second or third day of school and we're performing a skit. I was like, what is happening? I'm about to perform in front of these people I don't even know. Anyways, continue.
Yeah, it was interesting to say the least. And my group was given the skit of, I think it was mascot edition, so picking a mascot for our school. If you don't know, we go to Highlands College, and our college is very new for a college, and they've added a lot on in the last few years. So we don't have a mascot. So this was kind of like our thing, and it was just so funny because our group like did this skit, and me and Shay, which you'll hear a lot about Shay and Olivia probably in these stories because there are
our
two
besties.
Yes. Almost every one of these stories they're in.
Yeah, literally.
But
like they were there in every single one of them.
That's so funny. Me and Shay were like the Stanley girls.
And listen, so this is like the second or third day that I meet them, and then I see them come out, and they have on a t-shirt that matches the color of their Stanley, and I was like, oh, they meant to do that. Like, they were trying to match their Stanleys, and they're like, no, and I didn't believe them. I was like, whatever. Y'all trying to match your Stanleys.
That's actually so perfect that it did work out like that. But then I think we had like a cow. We had, if you go to HC, you'll understand this. If you don't, you won't. But we had Sweet Heat Chicken.
Oh my
And at the end, like, that was the mascot that like won in our skit. But it was really fun. I think we got second place, which I'm still upset about. But I digress.
Oh, y'all are the Blazers too. Y'all had the Blazers, right?
Yes.
And
We should
that's
have
another thing
won.
about HC. If you go to HC, you better have a blazer.
Better have a blazer.
Yes, and so my experience with this is, so a little backstory. Me and my boyfriend came into Highlands College together, and of course we were separated into small groups, different small groups. And so my small group, I was trying to talk to people. I have more of an outgoing personality, and so I was like, okay, well, gotta make friends somehow, I guess. I started talking to people and stuff. And ours was dorm dilemmas. And ours was actually really funny. I have to give credit to our group because it was really
It was
funny.
actually really
And
funny.
like to be kind of like make it known that we're like joking, kidding about it. Like everyone had like a paper like taped to them saying what they were. And so basically the skit went down that these two people living across the hall from each other were having issues because someone didn't want to turn their music down, and he was jamming the worship music. So the person rips open the door, is pretending to bang on his door, but something that's really funny is we had a sound guy in the back. So when he was pretending to knock on the door, somebody in the back was going, do, 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 do. And in this, I was a door. So I just stood there like this.
Yes, she stood there.
And I opened and I turned. And then I came back. And it was so awkward because I just stood there the whole time like
That
this.
was actually hilarious.
Oh, it was something, all right. And knowing nobody, I'm out here acting like a fool, standing like a door, just.
And then there's other people who had like the lead roles.
Yes.
And Kaleigh was a door. And someone was a speaker.
Yes, it was better than being a speaker. I mean, at least I moved around. Someone sat there like this the whole time. If you can't see it, if you're listening, someone was sitting on their knees with their hands out in front of them, just eyes closed, just still the entire time. Why they thought that was a speaker, I don't really know, but
I feel like, I don't even know. Yeah.
Oh man.
Yes, that was like so funny. Honestly, though, I loved it because it made me feel like more connected with everyone.
Yeah.
And see like the fun side of HC.
Yes.
Whereas before I was like so frightful coming in.
Mhm.
But moving on to our next story. Really, I only have the story with this. It's gonna be quick, but it's because it was embarrassing for me.
Oh yeah.
The luau. So we had a luau. Maybe it was a little over a week in, I think. Because it was
That whole
after
week
we
was a
met.
blur for me.
Yeah, it was a crazy week. But we had this little luau in front of our dorms, and they were having all these games and stuff. And there was the limbo. I remembered.
Limbo.
Is that what it is?
Yeah, limbo.
Okay.
Limbo competition.
Yes, limbo competition. And I say that because I kept forgetting the word, and I kept saying, what was that one? Yeah. Anyways, the limbo, I got it. The limbo competition. And I was kind of low-key forced to be in the competition. My friends were like, Blair, do the competition. And I was like, I don't want to do limbo. But I did it anyways.
Yeah,
And it was actually just, I included it because I didn't enjoy it, and it was funny.
It was so random.
I watched the video back, and it was like literally so cringy. I was like, I went to go the first time,
But she was not quite low enough, so she backed it on up. And had to try it again.
I went again, and if you're doing the limbo, you're like going like a spider, low key.
You know, there's like
You know, like
wooden
a back
snakes
bend.
that are like,
Oh, the wooden ones.
yeah.
Yes,
That's
that's
what
exactly.
you're-
And then your neck is like, you got a double chin the whole time. It was just not a pretty scene.
Yeah.
You didn't want to be there for that.
Also, I just want to point out the fact that we have on the same pants right now.
Oh, yes, we're wearing the same pants.
We did not do this on purpose.
No,
We just are very similar, so we showed up today in the same pants.
we did.
We did. Okay, y'all, the next story that we're going to talk about is something called Expedition. And so, for those people who do not know what that is, it is basically this obstacle course on this big piece of land with different obstacles, I
Yeah.
guess. But the thing is, they're on all different sides of the land. So you have to follow a map that's listed 1 through 18. And so you have to go to these different obstacles and try to be the first team that completes the race.
Yeah.
And so, of course, trying to make it harder, of course, you didn't just go in order in a circle. You had to go to all different, you had to go this side of the piece of land and then back over on this side. And then you just had to go all over this place. So I had an interesting story with Expedition, to say the least. So I love doing things like that. I think it is so much fun.
It was so much
I
fun.
think I love being able to like push myself and stuff. So I was very, very excited about it. But let's back it up a little bit. The night before. So,
Oh, we had to sleep in tents.
yes.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying.
Oh.
We're backing it up to the night before. And I am not a tent sleeper. Me and Blair, we're not tent sleepers. We're just not. It's just not who we are.
No.
Some people are made to sleep in a tent, whatever it is, but that is just not us.
Not us.
So I bring my little sleeping bag and my pillow. I was already like, oh, are you kidding me right now? I gotta sleep in a tent. I was so frustrated, so angry, and then in the middle of the night, I'm just laying there, whatever, trying not to shiver to death because it's so cold outside.
It was cold.
All of a sudden, I just feel something go drip, and I was like, what? I was like, whatever, just try to go back to sleep, because the ground is, of course, we pick the hardest ground that there is. I mean, even if there is soft ground, we pick the hardest one that there is. And of course, every 10 minutes, I'm feeling like a drip on my forehead. And I'm like, it's the middle of the night. I'm like, what is that? Like, I'm not cognitive enough to actually wake up and check what was dripping on me. And then finally I sat up and I hit my head on the tent, and it was like rain just came down on me. I was like, what is going on right now? Apparently there was some hot breath and there was condensation inside that tent that was dripping on me. It was dripping on me while I was sleeping. I was so annoyed. But Larry, you want to tell them a little bit about your night at Expedition?
Oh, my night at Expedition. This is... So, one thing about me, like Kaleigh said, I'm not a tent girl. I have a very intense night routine. It consists of many things, and one of those things is while I'm sleeping, you will find me in my silk bonnet with my eye mask. So, what did I do? I brought my bonnet and my eye mask to Expedition with my big old cozy, not so cozy, sleeping bag. And we're just chilling. Everyone's in our tent, the girls' tent. We have separate ones, to clarify.
Yeah.
The girls' tent, we're all sleeping in there. And I have my bonnet on, I have my sleeping mask, and I'm sleeping in this tent. And all of a sudden, I hear whoosh, and I hear ah!
Well, to clarify, these aren't like yurts or something. It's not anything nice. They hand us a bag and say, build your own tent.
Yes.
So these are put together by us. These are already set up like someone knows what they're doing. We're guessing on what we're doing in this.
Yeah.
So that explains why it crashed.
Me in my bonnet with my eye mask around my neck gets out of this tent at 10 o'clock at night when we have to wake up at 5 and fixes this tent for all of these girls. And one of the girls on my team actually got a video because they just thought it was the funniest thing. And it was actually funny to me.
It's hilarious. It's not funny to her. It's hilarious.
You just have to picture it.
Yeah.
And then one of the guys that were on our team were right next to us, and they set up their tent correctly. So they kind of open up their window. I'm like, you have a window? Like, where'd you get the window? And then he's like, you look like somebody's granny. And I was like, I'm just trying to fix this tent and go to bed.
Oh, man. Yeah, it
was something.
It was something, all right.
But that's really the funniest part of my experience. But Kaleigh has something else.
Oh, it's very interesting. So, I was killing it. I was at the front of the line the whole time, running, keeping up with everybody. And then all of a sudden, we get to something called the fireman's carry. And if you don't know what a fireman's carry is, basically you're picking someone up and they're laying across your shoulders, and you have like their arm in one hand and their leg in the other, and you're just carrying them. You're carrying them. Like it's just so I was like, okay, I pick up this light girl. I'm like, oh yeah, I got this. And so I'm running. I'm not even kidding because I was ready to get this over with because I'm very competitive. And so when people didn't care about it as much as me, I was like, so I had her on my back and I was running. I was sprinting. I had gotten it. And then we were on gravel and I was just trying to get through it. So the last part of it was a little bit of an incline. And so on that incline, I had tripped because it was gravel and I was running with a human on my back. And I tripped and I was like, oh no, this is it. And I tried to save her by like not completely throwing her on the ground. So I slowly lowered her to the ground and just tried to catch myself. And then I was like, ow, that really hurt. And so I pick up my hand and my pinky is just, it's supposed to be straight up and down, but it was at 90-degree angle. I said, well, first I looked at my hand, I looked at her, and I was like, are you okay? Because I felt so bad for dropping her. I was like, are you okay? And then she was like, yeah, are you okay? And I was like, I think I broke my hand. And it was just, my finger was sideways. So I'm like walking back. My adrenaline is pumping so fast that I don't even know what's happening right now. And my captain's like, what are you doing? Why are you walking back? Like, why aren't we running right now? And then I was like, well, I think I broke my hand. And it just is hanging there. And sorry if you're squeamish, but it was just hanging there. So then I get back and I am very squeamish. So keep in mind, or just a little side note, whenever it went sideways, the bone poked through. So, yeah, no, that was a no for me. I immediately started throwing up and passing out. And this was for a total of about 30 minutes that I was doing this, of just passing out and throwing up, could not keep it together. And they're like, all right, we got to get this girl to the hospital because she's not doing all right. So then I have someone come pick me up. And so I was in the front seat. They had wrapped this stuff around me to keep my arms straight. And I was in the front seat. They had buckled me in and they had covered me with a blanket because, for one, I was covered in mud. Two, I had just got done throwing up and passing out. So I was shivering cold. So I was sitting in the front seat and they were trying to find my book bag and my sleeping bag and stuff. So we pull up to the area where to get my stuff from, and they were like, okay, you stay in the car, we'll go out and get your stuff. And I was like, okay, perfect. And they were just going to like hold it up and be like, is this it? No, is this it? Just so I wouldn't have to get back out and walk around with my finger hanging sideways. So I was sitting there, and then all of a sudden, the driver, who may not be named, got out of the truck and then just starts walking away. And I'm sitting, and I don't feel the truck like almost jerk forward to come to a stop. And so I'm looking around and we start rolling. And I said, hey, hey. And then so, yeah, all I see him is running next to the truck to try to get it. And so he was like, please don't tell anybody about this, because that's why I work out, to chase my truck when I forget to put it in park. And that was just absolutely, it was so funny.
Okay, so Expedition was crazy and fun, but honestly, just to clarify on that, I know it probably sounds intense,
Yeah.
like listening or watching this,
Mm-hmm.
but honestly, it was like some of the most fun we have ever had in our lives. And to speak for myself, I know Kaleigh probably agrees, but I would definitely do it again, which I have to in a few months.
Definitely,
but
yeah. Next year we're doing it again, and honestly, I love it so much. It's so much fun. I'm just a really clumsy person. That's what happened to me. But it's amazing. It's so much fun.
But moving on to our next story. The first thing we're going to share, this one's going to be a little quick one, but around Christmas time, my campus was doing a little Christmas party for all of the HC students, and we're having a competition. And this was like, we were just given a statement and we had to come up with whatever that meant. And it was like, Christmas spirit was our statement. No rules, no, you have to dress up, you have to do this. There was nothing. It was just Christmas spirit and whatever you can come up with. So I was like, I'm winning this competition. I don't care what anyone says, I'm winning. So the day of, I was saying I was going to win. I didn't even have anything planned. But the day of, me and Kaleigh and Shay and Olivia, we all went to Five Below to get our Christmas stuff. And I was like, I'm going all out. So I was doing the like Christmas tree thing with your hair, where you like put your hair upside down and you put like a cup underneath it and you make it look like a Christmas tree. So we found tiny ornaments. I had Christmas tree earrings. I had like red lipstick. I had a Christmas tree drawn on my face. Did you do that, or was that Shay that drew that?
I don't remember. I think Shay did that.
Yeah, Shay drew like a whole Christmas tree on the side of my face.
Yeah, it was.
I had these slippers, which ended up getting soaking wet when we were walking outside. So my feet were like actually soaking wet the whole time. I was walking around barefoot.
That's really unfortunate.
It was really gross.
Well, from the other side of it, who I'm not at their campus, so Shay, Olivia, and Blair are all at the same campus. I'm at a different campus from them. And so we spent like 30 minutes just looking for some baby ornaments in Five Below. Just finding the most, we were just picking up random things that we could. It was probably a good 30 minutes that we spent trying to do her hair. Like, I think we used at least a half a bottle of hairspray.
Yeah, and then it was crazy.
And then on top of that, we were using bobby pins to stick the ornaments in her hair, and it was just a whole thing. And then you have Shay and Olivia, who just came in their PJ pants.
Yeah, but they were supportive of me.
They were. They said, "You do this, girl. You're gonna win it."
And then if you go look on my TikTok, you can find I did the Grinch dance with it on. Oh, and I had tinsel around my neck. It was a whole thing.
Did. It was. Oh, and your purse was a gift bag. Because if you know Blair, you know she always carries a purse. So we got her a little Christmas gift bag to carry her stuff around in.
Yeah, that was great. And then also around Christmas time, me and Kaleigh were asked to be in a Christmas choir.
And if you know anything about me and Blair, it is that we cannot sing. We're going to sing our heart out, but we cannot do it. It does not sound good. I know there's a Bible verse that says all you have to do is make a joyful noise. But I don't know how joyful ours sounds. So the fact that we were in a choir together was we were cracking up. We honestly thought it was the funniest thing ever.
It was really funny. And it was so fun. Because I would have never done that anywhere else. Mm-hmm. But here, it was like, yes, I'll be in a choir.
But it was like, I only do it if you do it. And I'll do it if you do it kind of thing. And
then it was like, we'll do it.
We're like, whatever, we'll just do it. It'll be fun. And it'll just be a fun experience. So
it was fun.
We did it. And we sang in that Christmas choir.
Sure did. And we were we on the front row?
Yeah,
we were on the front row.
Oh, were we?
I was. You weren't.
Yeah. I was not on the front row.
And then the next thing I want to talk about really quickly is my first championship.
Oh, yes.
So at HC, we're required to do sports. Mm-hmm. And my first semester, my sport was ultimate frisbee.
Yeah. Hey, I played ultimate frisbee too. It's a lot of fun.
It actually is a lot of fun. And if you do not play sports, it's like so easy to pick up.
It's the most unathletic sport that anybody can play, honestly. Like, you don't have to be crazy athletic to play ultimate frisbee.
That is true. I'm sorry if you're like a pro ultimate frisbee player.
Yeah, sorry. But I mean, we don't have the skills of them, but it's an easier sport to just pick up and play.
Yeah, definitely. Well, long story short, I was an ultimate frisbee champion. And I just find it funny because if I ever say that to anyone, they're going to be like, first of all, what is ultimate frisbee? And second of all, don't go around telling people that because that's embarrassing.
I know. When we were prepping for this, I said, ultimate frisbee champion. That is the most Christian college thing I've ever heard before. Oh, yeah. I'm an ultimate frisbee champion. Yeah.
And Kaleigh got basketball champion.
Oh, yeah,
her team won.
Yeah, I did. I got that championship.
Mm-hmm. So we're both champs.
Yeah, we
Probably never will be again, but...
Hey, who knows? Blair's been on 2 really good teams.
Yeah, we almost got to the championships.
But... Yeah, they were like right behind us. I mean, not us, obviously.
Right. Yeah. I guess I'm just the lucky gem or something like that. You want me on your team. If you're watching this and you're a captain, put me on your team if you have a good team.
Anyways.
All right. So the next story that we have is our first snow day.
Yes. So something about me and Blair is we are from the South. And in the South, there is no snow.
None.
I know Alabama
We're
is still
still in the
South. But North Alabama gets snow. We're from like the bottom of the bottom,
the
right next to the
beach.
Gulf of Mexico.
Yeah.
And so at the beach, you don't get any snow. So me and Blair experienced our very first snow day.
Yes.
People from the north are probably like,
It
whatever.
literally was not snow. But we didn't have to go to school, so it was like a snow day
yes.
for us.
But if you walked outside, it was literally just sparkles falling from the sky.
It was just sparkles.
That's
but
what I describe it as.
The funny
sparkles.
part of this story is we all somehow ended up waking up at the same time. I had no idea how that happened. And then
No,
we
I didn't wake up. You called me and said, "It's a snow day!"
Oh, me and Shay woke up at the same time. And then I did call Kaleigh and said, "It's snowing outside. Wake up!"
I was like, "What is happening right now?" I was like, "Oh my gosh!"
And so then we all got ready and put all of our stuff on. And all of a sudden, I feel like gush just coming out of my nose. And I was like, no freaking way. My nose starts bleeding as I'm trying to go outside to view the snow. And I told them, I was like, just go without me. I'll be down there in a second.
Acting like it was life or death or something. Just come on without me.
And I put my toilet paper in my pocket, I think. Or I brought some with me.
Either way, sounds about right.
One thing about me is I always have a tissue.
Yeah, she is. That girl gonna have a tish on her.
Well, I walked down there and I just have toilet paper shoved up my nose. Because my nose is just gushing blood. But I was not going to miss the snow.
She was not going to miss
I wasn't going to. And people were sledding down the hill. Which was very unsafe. But they did it anyway.
They took cardboard boxes and just decided that they were going to go down. And it looks like a lot of fun, but I was not about to climb up.
to do it.
Climbing back up the hill was the issue.
Yeah.
So.
And then if you went too far that way, you're going to hit the rocks.
Yeah.
I would be the girl to hit the rocks, but hit the rocks. That reminded me of Hit the Quan.
It's like, never heard that song before. Hit the rocks, hit the rocks.
Right. Anyways, our next story. Kaleigh has a very interesting story. So at
Very
HC,
transparent story, if you will.
yes. I told her not too many details.
Yeah.
But at HC, we also do this thing called Saturate, and it is a 3-day water-only fast. It's more like 2.
Yeah.
It's the evening of one day, one entire day, and the morning of another day. So it's more like 2 days, but in the span of 3.
Yeah.
And it's a water-only fast where we go on a retreat and just, we go all in for the Lord, and it really is like, it was
powerful.
great. It was so powerful. It was an experience, to say the least. But in any scenario where you have a lot of college students together, there are going to be some funny moments. And while I do have funny moments from that event, I'm going to let Kaleigh just...
Yes, I think a story just really takes the cake. So they had directed us. They were like, okay, after this worship and prayer moment, we're all going to go out. And it was all about silence and solitude. So really just getting alone, finding that quiet place. And so knowing me, if I saw anyone in my sight of vision, I was going to be distracted. Like, oh, what are they thinking? What are they journaling about? Let me go talk to them. And so that's just how my personality is. I'm always like, people. And so whenever I was out there all alone, keep in mind, we're drinking lots and lots of liquids.
Lots of water.
Lots of liquids. And so, yes, water. Not liquids. Water.
Water.
And so, leading up to that week, I had done liquid only. And so, then, it was just...
I forgot you did that.
My body, I guess, just had enough. I was like, yeah, you're done. So, I was out in this little... We were at a camp, Chaco Springs, if anyone has ever been there. And, so there was a paintball field? I guess that's what it was.
I don't know.
So there's all these little obstacles, and I was like, okay, nobody's going to come out to this paintball field, because it was probably a mile that I had walked away from just the place that we were all meeting at, like in the building that we were all meeting at. And so I'd walked out there, and I was, trying to really get into the silence and solitude moment. And I was just walking along because I heard water rushing. Anyways, not the point of the story. The point of the story is, fast forward, had some time with the Lord, and I was like, man, drinking a lot of water, I really have to use the bathroom. And so I was like, okay, but it'll be fine. Like, I'm supposed to stay out here for like 20 more minutes. I'll be fine. So I'm walking around, and then I hear that gushing water, and I'm like, ooh, man, a bathroom really sounds nice right now. So I was going back and forth, debating whether I should walk back, and I was like, no, I'm just going to stay out here. It'll be fine. And then I was like, who am I talking? I was raised in the south of Alabama. We are taught to use the restroom in the woods. So I was like, man, whatever. Nobody's around me. Let me just
Pop a squat
in the woods. And so, I was scouting out a couple different places. Because there's like these little, almost dug into the ground, little tent things that you could like crawl inside. And I was like,
because she's at a paintball field.
A paintball field. And so I was like, but then I saw someone walk by. I was like, oh, no, I can't do this. And then it was, oh, no, I'm not making it back to the campsite or whatever we were at. I was like, geez, I'm really going to have to go in these woods. Like, I really am. But yeah, I was struggling. It was a rough time. Just to be very candid with y'all, I was struggling. I was debating. And then the thoughts that were going through my mind was, oh my gosh, there's cameras out here. Oh my gosh, am I about to have to go back to my room and change my pants right now? I was struggling. So y'all, I literally circled that property probably 15 times just trying to find a place. And I was like, what am I doing? I grab my stuff and I'm speed walking to the bathroom. Because I didn't know if I was going to make it.
Needless to say, she did not go in the woods.
Praise God, because I was so scared that someone was either going to find me in the middle of life or
Life.
There was going to be cameras, and I was going to get kicked out of HC. It was an experience, to say the least.
She was in a life or death situation. Any human being would have been debating what they were going to do in that circumstance. So, do not pass judgment on my friend.
Yes, no. And it's
but
okay.
At the end of the day, she went and found a bathroom.
And it's okay if you pass judgment, because we all know that you've been in that situation, too.
Yes. You have.
And whenever I told them that story, because I was alone, so when I told them that story, we died laughing for like 5-10 minutes, probably.
It was hilarious.
It was so funny.
Okay, so Saturate was quite an experience for Kaleigh.
Yes. I made it through though, praise God.
Oh, also, last thing about Saturate is we went and got Chick-fil-A after, and we were told, like, don't go eat a heavy meal right after Saturate, because you have to think, like, you haven't eaten in 48 hours.
Your stomach is, like, completely empty. Like, there's actually nothing in it besides water.
There's nothing. So they were like, don't do that. You're going to be sick. We were like, we don't care. We went to Chick-fil-A
Big Macs.
We went and got the biggest meal ever.
12-count nuggets, large fry, mac and cheese, milkshakes,
everything.
Man.
It was great. So wanted to share that with you because...
And that was the best Chick-fil-A I've ever eaten in my life.
Literally best Chick-fil-A. And I didn't feel sick after at all. So I will be doing the exact
I
same
felt
thing
great.
next year.
Yeah, literally. I felt great. I was praising the Lord for the Lord's chicken, okay?
Yes. But our next story has to do... This is going to sound really sad at first, which it is sad. But this is a good memory for us. Yes. But when Toby Keith passed away... Me and Kaleigh were obviously very upset because brought to your courtesy of the red, white, and blue.
Man, we were like on the way to the Summit, which is the mall around here, and we were just singing our hearts out. We had that cranked up loud, having a whole little ceremony. Because may he rest in peace.
May he rest in peace, Toby Keith.
That's who we were raised on.
Yeah, raised on Toby Keith.
Because we should have been a cowboy. Should have learned to rope and ride.
Oh, I was so confused.
all the sound effects.
Yeah.
All the background noise.
Next, this was just, I'm going to share, this is like a really fast one, but our friend Olivia tried king cake for the first time.
My gosh. And yes, I have a funny story about this. So, I love Mardi Gras. I think it's such a fun time. I just love, the beads, the parades. It's just really fun. Moon pies. But the thing I was really sad about, because they don't have Mardi Gras here, the thing I was really sad about was no king cake. And so, my sweet, loving mom decides she was going to send me a king cake. But don't worry, this wasn't any old king cake. She wasn't gonna let it go bad on the shipment up here. Because she decides that she wants to vacuum seal it. And if you've ever had a king cake before, super fluffy, almost croissant-like bread. So that thing was flatter than a piece of paper in that vacuum seal. But guess what? It tasted so good. I was sitting at the lunch table. You never had king cake? Try a bite real quick. So good.
But I don't know if Olivia tried king cake that day or not. But I remember I brought back a king cake too because I went home for Valentine's Day with my boo.
Yes,
Early Valentine's Day.
My boo. As you can see, we're singing a lot because we were in a choir.
Yeah, the choir. But I remember I cut off a slice of that king cake for Olivia, and she ate that up. Mm-hmm. Do I know if she actually liked it or not? I don't know. Honestly, I'm convinced that people who didn't grow up on king cake won't like it because, in my opinion, it's not the best.
Oh. Agree to disagree.
It's good, but I definitely feel like it's one of those things that if you didn't grow up on it, you're like,
because it's like,
there's better
I
desserts.
like the cream cheese flavor, honestly.
Yeah.
So the cream cheese in it is really good. But
it is.
Yeah, it was delicious. And we got to introduce to all of our northern friends king cake.
Yeah. But our next story is our training, quote unquote, for the half marathon, which we'll talk about later. Basically, me and Kaleigh were like, yeah, we're going to train for this half marathon. We've got 3 months. We're just going to go in.
We were planning to run the entire thing. We're like, no, we're not going to walk it. What do you mean? We're about to run this entire thing.
We're getting it done. We're doing it. And so we trained. And honestly, we did very good for the first, 3 weeks,
Yeah. We were on it. Like, when we were tired, when one person was tired, the other person was like, nope, come on, Blair. Gotta get up.
I was the tired one. But there was one day. I think this was our last. This is
actually the last day.
This is the day we stopped
training. Because we were on it. We were doing so good. I felt so good afterwards.
We were traumatized.
It was amazing. Yeah, it was.
So if you live in Birmingham or you know about Birmingham, there's this thing called the Vulcan, right? That's what it's called. And there's a little trail back there. So we would go and run this trail together as safe as we could. And before it became nighttime outside. Well, as we were training is when it started to get really cold around here because this was January, February time.
Yeah.
And this particular day, I had on leggings, I think either a t-shirt or a Lululemon shirt and a jacket on.
Mm-hmm. And I had on
over it.
Pretty much the same as well. But she had on more of a windbreaker and I just had on leggings and an athletic material. It was a Lululemon jacket. So that athletic material tight jacket. And so
it was literally had to be 20 something degrees.
Mm-hmm. Not even kidding.
And on top of that, our little training thing that we were listening to kept messing up. So we were like, what the heck's going on? And finally we were both freezing cold. There's a video of us that we have. You could see our breath. And as two girls who grew up by the beach, it gets pretty cold, but not this cold.
Yeah.
And so we're running we have not the right clothes on. And we are literally freezing.
Yeah, I remember taking steps and I was like, man, I can't feel my legs right now. It just felt like Jello or something. It was
and we got in the car
miserable.
And it was literally the craziest feeling ever.
I know. We were just thawing out. The feeling of thawing out was just amazing.
Yeah. We sat there for a second.
We did. I said, Blair, I can't go anywhere for a minute. I gotta warm up before I drive.
That was an experience. And we never ran after that.
Nope. That was our last time. And then we ended up walking half of the half marathon, so.
Probably more than half.
But we completed it. We did. We completed a half marathon.
Yes, we did.
Mm-hmm.
So our next story is about HC Madness.
Yes.
So our college puts on a students versus staff basketball game every year. And Kaleigh's boyfriend was on the team.
Was.
So this was really fun because since we go to a really small college, we don't really get to go to games or things like that. So to be able to like dress up and like the student section colors and like all these things.
Make signs.
Yes, it was just so much fun to be able to do that. So since Kaleigh's boyfriend was on the team, she really wanted to make a shirt for her to wear.
And so I had this great idea that I was going to paint a shirt that said, I heart, and then a picture of Owen's face on it. And then on the back, of course, had like his last name and like the number or whatever. And so, but me, I had this great idea, great vision that cannot fulfill the great vision because I'm not very artistic. And it's not even being artistic, it's just Blair's got that big sister vibe to her. And I'm like, hey Blair, you want to come help me with this? So she came to Michael's and Target and all these places with me to help me fulfill my dreams of having this shirt. And I still have it today.
Yes, it was really cute.
Yeah, it'll be like one of those memory things. It was just so funny. I loved it. Was just a fun time making it and stuff. So
it was a lot of fun. And we got E6000 glue for the face. And it started to smell. And I read the back of it and it was like, fumes may cause cancer or something like that. And I was like,
oh geez. And then here I am squeezing it, trying to get all the glue out on the paper, and it goes,
it popped all over you.
Exploded out the backside of it. And we're like, we're all getting cancer. This is it. We're all whatever getting. Yeah.
But it was fun. It was a cute shirt. If you follow me on Instagram, you probably saw it.
Yes.
But our next story is about Easter. So we all ended up going to our friend Shay's house for Easter because she's from the Birmingham area. And her family did a nice, lovely little Easter dinner for us. And we ended up dyeing eggs. And the funny part about that story is I'll let Kaleigh take this away.
I know all my stories about my boyfriend, but so he, oddly enough, has never dyed Easter eggs. So this was an experience for him. He was asking me because he was kind of like the boyfriend there of my friends and stuff. And so he was like, hey, what am I supposed to be doing? Do I just put it in there? How long do I leave it in there for? Like, do I just dip it and take it out? I was like, I'll show you the way. We got this. It was a very memorable moment.
Yes.
Just his first time dyeing Easter eggs, which was just hilarious.
I can't believe that was his first time because I remember being a kid and like dyeing Easter eggs and then eating them the next day.
And then your hard-boiled eggs would be like blue and pink and stuff from all the different dyes.
Yeah. That's really gross.
It's just like
or they'd be that gross like green color because one of the kids mixed too many colors together, so it was like that doo-doo green.
Yeah.
It was not a good looking egg to eat.
But guess what? It tasted so good.
But our last story that we're going to tell, most recent, was our experience running a walking,
you know.
the half marathon for the very first time. Yes. So this is another thing that Highlands College requires of us. If you're watching this, you're probably like, dang, this college requires them to do a lot of stuff. It does, but it's fun and we love it.
Yes, and honestly, it's a lot of fun. It's not like a burden to do it. Yes. It's something that we're all really excited for. So
except the half marathon, I will say I really wasn't excited for that. All the other stuff, for it. I was excited for. This, not so much. But the half marathon, it's 13.1 miles. So me, Kaleigh, and Shay decided to all run it together. And our friend Olivia decided that she was just going to run the whole thing, which props to her.
Yeah,
she finished in what, like 2 hours and something minutes? 20 minutes, I think?
2 hours and 40, I'm pretty sure. 2:30, one of them.
Yeah. Something in the two. We finished in 3 hours and like 6 minutes. Because we were having some pep in our step when we were walking.
We were walking with a purpose.
Yes, we were. But one of the funniest moments was our drive to this marathon. one of Kaleigh's boyfriend's friends, and he's actually my small group. His name is Tony, and we call him what, Kaleigh?
Toniford. That's what I like to call him, is Toniford. I think it's fun having nicknames for people, so I like to call him Toniford.
Toniford. Well, we were in the car, and me and Kaleigh were like making a little joke. We were like, "Hey Tony, if you happen to get in a wreck on the way to half marathon,
It'll be all right. It'll get us out of doing this.
yeah, we won't have to run." Little do we know, he steps on his gas, going probably 80. I'm writing him out. He was going
Tony.
so fast. I already can see my Grammy texting me right now. Why were you in the car with somebody driving like that? Anyways, he was just going for it. And Owen is on the phone. Yeah. And then finally he's like, "Tony, slow down."
Because we were like, Owen, like, we're looking at each other, texting each other, being like, oh my gosh. He, like, got into another lane, and this car was like,
Well, that was before he was going 80.
Yeah, he wasn't going that fast.
This was when we were pulling out of the college. He was like, "Oh."
But it also was like 6 a.m. We were all half asleep. We had just
literally
rolled out
was
of bed.
6 a.m. So
We give him grace.
give him grace for that. We're
But-
still here today.
But
But it was a fun experience. Will I ever get in a car with Tony again? Absolutely not.
Toniford, if you're watching this, I don't even know.
And then the other thing is about the half marathon. When we would get to these like water stations, they were pampering us.
They
honestly,
were. They gave us
They
a lot.
had water, Powerade. They had pickle juice for
Body
cramps.
armors.
Body armors, yeah.
Mhm.
Really?
And like some of the cup things.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
They knew body armors. Okay, and they had those gel things.
You're called goo.
Oh, goo.
If you're a little runner.
If you're a runner, it's like goo. Goo.
Goo.
Well, I already knew that these tasted bad. I was warned. And one thing about me is I'm like a texture girl. So if stuff has weird textures, I'm not. So I was like, fine, I'll just try one. So they give me like a grape one.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, oh, grape. But I'm like, okay, I'm just going to try it. I'm really tired. I could use the energy. I put that thing in my mouth and I take one little of it. And
One little slurp.
I literally... This is what they made us do. They clean this up after.
Yeah.
I'm guessing this is what you do in races. I don't know. I've never done a race
Yeah.
before. But I just threw it on the side like we did our cups and everything else. And I had to swallow that. And it was disgusting. Like, it was so gross. And Kaleigh, go ahead and describe your experience.
Well, at this point in the race, we were kind of getting a little bit closer to the end. So we were all tired. We were all getting a little snappy. So I can just imagine. So we were a little bit in front of Blair. I can just imagine her grabbing it, throwing it on the ground. But I had this flavor. So they were holding them all out like this. And I saw that one was lemon. Or it was green. I saw purple, green, purple, purple. I said, I'm not a grape girl. So I grabbed that green one, and I tried it, and it said lemon flavor. And I was like, okay, this is going to be really good, lemon flavor. So then I open it up, take one little slurp of it, I guess. I don't really know it. You're not drinking it, you're not
Yeah,
eating it. It's a
it's
little slurp of
weird.
it. And then I was like, this tastes like chocolate. But it was so strange. But I think it was because, I don't know if y'all ever heard of something called rhinovirus, but that rhinovirus messed up my taste buds because I don't know why, but my body just decided to break down and have this terrible sickness before the half marathon.
Yeah, she was very sick before the half marathon.
It was so rough, but hey, that chocolate lemon flavored goo tasted so good. I was like, I'm ready to run.
I have no idea how we made it through.
All right, y'all. As we can see, we have had a lot of fun memories through the year. It has just been a wild ride being here at HC, but honestly, I wouldn't trade it for the world. It's been so sweet doing it with one of my best friends and also our other friends who could not be here today. So. Not be here today, but
Yeah.
y'all know what I mean.
Yeah, if we could have all of them on, honestly, I would, but I have limited space, and I can't figure out how to get my second mic to work. But
It's okay,
hopefully,
we're working on it.
yeah, we're working on that. Hopefully we'll get that figured out. But anyways, this was so much fun. I loved being able to do this and just go through all my memories. As I said earlier, this is my last video or podcast in my first ever college dorm.
So bittersweet.
Yes, it is so bittersweet. And I just wanted to say, if you're not already following our Instagram, the podcast Instagram, it is at Straight Up Christian Podcast. I'll have it in the description below. Also, get ready because the next episode will be on May 12th. I'll be posting it at 12 a.m. You know why. And if you don't know why, I guess you'll just have to go and watch the other videos to see why I post at 12 a.m.
Yes.
With all these fun memories said, with our fun guest here today, I just want to say thank you so much for watching or listening, and I hope you all have a great rest of your week.